All aboard. Oh, shallow. I forgot Salagi. I'm about to load up here in a second. Put my garment on here. You see yourself on that sign?
Looking. I don't know, man. I'm Polish, so I don't know.
Hey, some blacks in Poland now, you know what I'm saying, all up in Europe.
I got a little bit of it.
Hey, you probably do. Kind of sound like it, you know what I'm saying? Let's get into it. You know? While I get started, we give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Hashem Kakodash. You know, that could have been a Jake. You know, I asked him if he see himself on that sign, you know. And we had the so-called Negroes all through Europe, man. Ireland, you know, Scotland, you know, the time period they call the Dark Ages, when so-called Negroes were ruled. Those so-called Negroes. So it was all through Europe during the Dark Ages. And you had the Moors, they go all up into, you know, Spain, leaving out of Africa, conquering Italy and things like that, man. you know, especially Sicily. He said the Moors laid so much pipe, it changed the genetics of the people. Man. You know, they used to be blonde hair, blue eyed wops, they said, and then they started coming out dark skin and black hair, man, due to the so called Negroes, you know, the tribe of Judah, you know, so called Negroes, so called Jamaicans, so called Haitians, man. You know, so we was all through Europe. There ain't too many places we haven't been, you know, because you know what, as it's saying, say, we're gonna make ourselves at home. You know, that's one thing you have to worry about. Jacob's gonna find a woman. You know, the so-called Negroes are gonna get down. They gonna get to work in. You know what I'm saying? If we don't do nothing else, you know, the so-called Latinos too, man. You know, if we don't do nothing else, man, we're gonna lay some pipe. You know, that's just one of the gifts the Most High gave us, man. The Most High gave us. You how else we gonna be fruitful and multiply, man? The Most High ain't got the spirit on us to lay pipe, you know, and that's just what it is. No, it ain't smart to do it now, but hey, it's nothing for the so-called Negro Latinos and so-called Native Americans, man, to get down. You know, we're gonna, and the woman too. The woman like get pipe down too, man. This is what Most High made us. You know, that's just how the spirit, you know, that guy, he could have been an Israelite foreigner. Kind of sound like a Jace. The only time to tell, though. You know, we'll soon find out in the kingdom. You know, we'll find out in the kingdom whether he is so-called. Well, he ain't gonna be so-called in the kingdom. He's gonna be an Israelite in the kingdom. You know, if he is. You know, if not, hey, you're gonna be a slave, man. That's all to it. You can be a slave if he ain't and these tribal people right there, man. You don't come from the lineage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You know, then hey, you're gonna be 1,000 years a slave. You know, and that's all to it, man. You know, I'm gonna get on my subject here. You know, the spirit moves so quick. You know, like I'm saying, none of this is rehearsed. I didn't sit up all night. I didn't tell that guy to walk by here and say, hey man, do you see yourself on this sign? You know? I didn't stand in the mirror all night, you know, putting all this together, man. Like they say, this is on the fly. Well, I will say it's all through the spirit. Like the man of the Lord say, hey, it's all through the spirit. So whether he find himself on this sign or not, you know, he did inquire. He could inquire more about it. But you know, I gave him the opportunity. So you can't say I never gave you the opportunity, man, to inquire what I'm about to bring up, or what this really sign, what this sign really entails, man. But let's get into it. Because time is ticking. This is Psalms 102, 6. Let's start at verse 6. It says, I am like a pelican of the wilderness. I am like an owl of the desert. Verse 7. I watch and am as a sparrow alone upon the housetop. So I'm like a sparrow alone on the housetop, looking down, you know, looking for predators, warning you about what's to come. You know, I was sent here to the so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans to warn you what's on the what's the word I'm looking for? The impending doom that you're about to face. That's what I'm looking for. So the Lord has set me up all through the Spirit to come out and preach this word to let you know all hell getting ready to break loose. You know, this is the quiet before the storm, like they say. You know, with this whole Strait of Hormuz going on, being shut down, there's nothing good is gonna come from it, man. It's all gonna spiral out of control. And so I'm here to warn you, so-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans. If you don't get your shit together, you're gonna get swept up in it, man. And when I mean get your shit together, I'm talking about returning back to your true power, the How about Shemi yourself, man, the true power of the Bible. You know? Not Jesus, not Jesus, not the Great Spirit, you know, none of the above. You got to call him by his true name and his son by his true name, man. Because, you know, let's say you're in a crowd of people and you see, you know, your friend, right? And, you know, and you calling, his name is, let's say Jim, but you calling him fucking Tyrone, right? You yelling, Tyrone, Tyrone. You know, he gonna keep walking straight. You know, he might like, I know that voice from somewhere, but you instead of yelling Tyrone, Tyrone, and his name is Jim. So he, of course, he's not going to acknowledge you, man. He's not going to acknowledge you calling him because you're not really calling his real name. So the Most High is the same way. It's not Yeshua, Yahweh, you know, Yah, which is some of it. You know, I give you half credit for that, for Yah. Mhm. I give you half credit for saying the word Yah or the name Yah, but you're missing some, you know, you're missing something. You know, so you're going to read the Lord's name and his son's name in this great day that's coming, this great, terrible day known as Jacob's trouble, which the Lord has, you know, put together for you so-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans. He dedicated this time just for you. You're like, wow, why would the Lord do that? Because you've been a sinful, rebellious nation, man. You know, we're still under the old covenant, man. And you made an agreement with the Most High that you're going to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. And now you reneged on the deal, man. You have totally reneged on the deal. And the Lord ain't forgot about it. You know? And so he sent his men out here, men like myself, to let you know that he's still pissed, man. That he ain't forgot nothing. You know? You know, he sent me and other various men like myself throughout the world, man. Let you know that the Lord is still upset. Matter of fact, scripture says he's angry at the wicked every day. You know? He look, you know, so he ain't this big teddy bear the way the church likes to paint him, man. Like he just loves, loves, loves. You know, he don't get upset, you know. Scripture say he's upset with the, well, not upset, angry with the wicked every day, man. And, you know, once you get mad enough, you know, you gonna fucking kill somebody, man. You get mad enough. So the Lord the same way, man. So that's when you see these so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native Americans get put to death because the Lord has said, hey, man, I'm done with them, man. Send their ass up into the spirit world, you know? because he likens Israel to a woman. You know, and if you see your woman cheating on you every day, she just out there, you know, talking to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, you know, and you just sitting here looking at it. You're like, okay, well, maybe tomorrow she won't do it, but she back at it again, you know. Eventually, you're gonna get mad enough and do something. So the Lord is the same way. You know, you're cheating on the Most High. You know, he called Israel. Well, he said Israel goes a horn, man. And you have been going a horn. You've been laying down with other gods, different idols. And so the Most High, he ain't feeling that. And neither is his son. You know, so he's gonna send his son back to, get busy one good time. You know, he coming back as that lion this time. He ain't coming back as that sheep as he was in the beginning that everybody loved. Everybody loves the sheep version. How it's right? But he's coming back as the lion of Judah, man. And he's coming to put motherfuckers to death, man. He's coming to kill this time. You know, ain't no peace treaty this time, man. Ain't no, he's carrying that loving Israel spirit, you know. This time, it's gonna be different. All that love shit is out the window this time. You know, he's coming to put you to death. You know, because you've been an unfaithful whore, man, to his father, man. You know? And it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You know? So that's why he said, all of Israel is not of Israel. Meaning everybody saying they're Israelite, not really what he's looking for. He's looking for the elect of Israel. He's not coming back to get everybody, man. It's not gonna be one big happy family when we left out of Egypt. You know, we are family and all this kind of shit. This time it's gonna be completely different. He's coming for us to elect. You know? He's coming for the elect of the nation of Israel. And that's it, man. That's the only people gonna be delivered out of this hell that's getting ready to come to America. And not only America, the world. You know, like I said, this is like the calm before the storm. And eventually, the trucks got to stop running. The diesel's got to run out. The gas has got to run out. The jet fuel is already running out. You know? The fertilizer is getting low. It's getting too expensive to farm. Getting too expensive to feed cattle. Hey, eventually, shit's got to hit the fan, man. And you people are sleepwalking right into it. You don't have a clue on what's to come. You know, you don't have a clue how hellish it's going to get right here in America. You know, food is going to disappear, man. The scriptures speak about how it's going to be, the famine is going to be so bad that our children are going to die from the famine. And the ones that flee into the mountains, man, you're going to have to drink blood because there's going to be no water to drink, man. That's how bad it's going to get. Think about any and every scary movie and any apocalyptic movie you ever seen. Think about all those movies into one event, man. You know? All the, like I said, no event that ever took place in history is going to compare to this time that's coming. You know? There's no written record on what's going to take place with this time known as Jacob's Trouble, man. You know, it's gonna be worse than World War One, World War Two, you know, Vietnam War, when when Rome besieged Jerusalem in 70 AD, man. When we starved, they starved us out. It's gonna be worse than that. Any kind of Roman Jewish war, the Gulf Wars, all that's gonna be child's play. So what this time period is talking about, man. You're gonna wish you was going through the Great Depression, man. You're gonna wish there was a soup line. You're gonna be hoping that they would just start a soup line or a soup kitchen or something. Because there's gonna be no food out here. Nothing to eat or drink. And the scriptures say, hey, some people gonna die by the sword, some people gonna die by the famine, some people gonna die by wild beasts. Man, it's gonna be pure hell in these streets all over the country. And like I said, man, it's gonna be beautiful. But that only signals that we getting close to the end, man. We almost out of here. Man, like myself, the elect, we looking to get out of here, man. We're looking for the good delivery. We're done with America. We're done with so-called white man ruling this, man. We're done with it. We don't want to work for his ass all our lives, man. We're looking for a kingdom. We're looking for the kingdom of heaven. We ain't looking for a new fucking job, man. Or, I'm gonna save my money up and I'm gonna move into this good neighborhood. Fuck all that. I'm gonna get my credit straight. I'm gonna get my money up. I'm gonna move into a gated community. And that shit play it out, man. We're looking for the kingdom of heaven, man. And it's right around the corner. We can see the finish line. And Trump is doing a good job of getting it closer and closer every day, man. They saying, oh, Trump is fucking up. No, he's doing a damn good job, man. He is doing an awesome job. I'm gonna get an A plus. He's tanking everything, man. Every time I see him in a news article or something, I start smiling, man. Because I know he's fucking up, man. I love it. It's absolutely beautiful, man. Absolutely. Who would thought I would have been able to see the end of this empire, man? Who knew I would be alive to see it? When I was growing up, he was like, America never fall, man. This place gonna go on forever. And then you get into this truth, where the Most High put you into this truth. You start opening your eyes, and you start like, oh, America about to fall. Like, oh, this bitch is collapsing right before our very eyes. It's coming up on that 250-year anniversary. And most empires don't last 250 years. The average empire. And this is right on schedule. Hey, what, July 4th? Be 250 years? So I want to be making long plans, man. Long, like they say, 5-10 year goals and shit. Man. You know, it's about over. This thing is nearly over, man. Let's get to the book of Habakkuk, like they say. It's Habakkuk 2:1 says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower and will watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved. So I'm standing upon my watch. Let me know on this sign that the Lord getting ready to come back. And if you ain't down, like I say, if you ain't gonna get down with him, you want to lay down, man. You know, it's not gonna be any gray area. You can know by sitting down the shop. They don't play this, you know, in the middle shit, you know. Either you in or you out. You know? And ain't none of this on the fence type of like I'm just gonna see how it plays out. Now, you gotta get down with the Lord now, man. If not, you ain't gonna make it out of what's to come, you know? And it's just that simple. You're not gonna make it out all the said perils, man. The famine, martial law, the riots, civil war, race wars. Jesus can't get the job done, man. Jesus can't make it happen, man. You got to have the son's real name. And matter of fact, they got to be dealing with you, man, in order to make it out of this. You know? Because let's say the Lord spared you. You make it through the famine, make it through martial law, you know, you make it through all that, the mark of the beast, just for him to save you for the very last, man. And that's the thermonuclear ICBM missiles, the nukes. You know, you can be like, oh, I made it. I made it through the famine. I made it through all that. But the Lord's he's going to end up killing you anyway, man. You know, you're not going to escape the Most High, man. Because you gotta keep a certain amount that he truly hates for the nuclear war. Man. When the nukes hit America, now you're gonna look in the sky, and the sky's gonna black out from all the nukes in the air, man. And you're gonna realize that the Most High really hated your ass, man. He saved you for the nukes, you know. But it's all good though, man. If you're on this sign, you ain't got nothing to worry about, man. You're gonna come back in the kingdom. You know, but you gotta take your lick though. You're on this sign, you're gonna be okay in the long run. Like Trump say, short-term pain for long-term gain. You got to deal with some short-term pain in order to get long-term gain, man. You know, we're gonna see you in the kingdom. It's gonna be all good. You know, we're gonna see you in those Hebrew huggies, man. You know, when you come back reincarnated, we're gonna chop it up, man. We're gonna chop it up, man. And it's gonna be sweet, man. Verse 2, and Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. So, hey, Most High said, hey, write the vision. And it's been wrote already. Because what's this vision is talking about? The ultimate vision, the major piece, the prophecy, is the mark of the beast. And it's plain. They've already come out and said, hey, by 2030, they're going to put chips inside it. They're going to put microchips inside it. Like the one they mentioned in Revelation, the one in your forehead on your right hand. But it don't matter if they put it in your left hand or your right hand. You're going to be screwed, man. They could put it wherever they want to. You get it. Your ass is grass, man. You people in this sun, you so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native Americans, if you take that mark of the beast, it's over for you. It's non-negotiable after that. So Prince Charles came out a day ago, maybe 2 days ago, saying, oh, they're going to move to digital IDs in the UK. Why? Because everything is getting ready to go digital. The economy is going to collapse, and they got a new system lined up. They got a new digital system online, getting ready to come online. What you think all these fucking data centers all about? This is going to be part of the new world order, man. Everything's going to be tracked, surveilled, stored. CBDCs, digital currencies, and RFID microchips, man. You're gonna be a complete and total slave. You ain't gonna be able to wipe your ass without them knowing it. They're gonna know where you've been, where you going. And how much money your ass spending a day. You think these phones listening now? You ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till this new world order get off the ground. They're gonna know exactly what the hell's going on with you. You ain't giving money. And believe me, they're gonna get it off the ground. It's already in the plate. The elite are going to get their new world order off the ground. They're gonna actually see it. They're gonna get to experience it. But it's not gonna be for long. The scripture speaks about when they're about to sit down and fill their belly. That means everybody's microchip. They got their digital, framework all put in. Once everything is digital, cashless, the Lord said, hey, they're gonna actually enjoy it for a little bit. But it ain't gonna be long, though. Most times gonna knock them out of power. So it said, verse 2, 2 and 2, and Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain upon tables. Hey, it's plain upon tables. It's plain to the elect. This is plain to me, man. I can see it. I can visualize it. When I'm reading it, You know, the Bible's been decoded, man, for the elect. You know, this is not a mystery book like it used to be for me. You know, you start reading about dragons and locusts and things like that. Like, oh man, the scary book. You know, before I got into this, it didn't make sense. But now it makes plenty of sense now, man. Once the spirit is dealing with you, once the Most High put the spirit on you, you can understand this Bible like that, man. You know, it's no longer like a fairy tale book. The book is alive and it's well. It's the only book that has prophecies in it. It's the only book that has prophecies, man, which have come to pass and which are coming to pass, man. You know, people used to scoff like, "Oh, that's a white man book. White man wrote that book." You know, if that's the case, well, why the white man would condemn himself, man, in this book? You know, like if I wrote this book, you think I'm gonna talk shit about myself in the book? Make that make sense? You know, you think I'm you know, tell all my plans in the book for everybody to know? You know, so I heard it all. You know, said white man wrote the book. What else? Oh, man wrote that book. What book? Man hasn't wrote it. You think them books in the library just wrote they fucking self? You know, the words just hopped into the books. Of course, man wrote the book. The only thing about the Bible is this was inspired by the Most High, and it said, damn, it's a precept said where he wrote the scriptures with his finger, man. That the Most High himself wrote it with his finger. And if I can find that precept, give me a couple minutes here. So yeah, man. You know, I heard all kind of excuses. Damn. I'm gonna give it a couple minutes, see if I can find it. If not, I'm gonna move on. But watch, I'm gonna find it when I get home. But it speaks about how the Most High wrote it with his finger, man. You know? And for the ones, you know, the other books he didn't, he used the prophets to do it, man. You know, it's another precept I ain't been over in a while where it speaks about nah, I'm not gonna butcher it. It's been a while since I've been over. Yeah. No, that's something else for me to go over. I need to brush up on that. But it's been a while since I've been over it. Now it's hard to put my lesson. I think it's in the Old Testament. Hold on. Give me a couple minutes. What? Being close. Go to Exodus 31 and 18. This is Exodus 31 and 18. He gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone written with the finger of God or the Most High, man. So here it is, the Most High personally wrote these commandments with his finger, man. You know? The original skits, So all that shit talking about, oh, man wrote that book. Here it is, the Most High said he wrote this shit with his finger, man. And he gave those commandments to Moses, man. And it's another one that's eating me up too. About I think it was Edris. Where Edris said he didn't sleep or something when he was writing the Bible. I'm gonna see if I can find that. I'm gonna move on with the lesson. Damn. It's been a long time since I've been over there. Let's go on. Let's go back. So let's read that over again. It's Habakkuk 2 and 2. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that read it. So when you get this word, this understanding, this wisdom, you're supposed to run with it. You're supposed to be like Jeremiah. Once you got it, it was like a fire in his bones, man. And his soul, he couldn't sit down, man. You got to be the same way with this once you get this. The Lord put this spirit on you. It happened to me. I had to go. I couldn't sit down. Once I finally got the green light to go, I was on go after that. Say, Samaki on go. I was on go, man. I couldn't sit down. I couldn't shut up about it, man. Even my woman, she was like, I don't know what happened to you. It's like you possessed. I'm like, damn, I'm on a good track then. She's like, I don't know what happened to you. You changed. It's like you possessed now. Yeah, I am fucking possessed, man. Got the spirit on me, man. I got the spirit. Going in here. This ain't no slideshow act up here, man. I'm just saying on and off camera. I walk this life every day, man. There's no breaks with this. I'm not like your scumbag preacher, man. He loves you and God, this, that, and the third every Sunday. But Monday through Saturday, he a damn demon though, you know? You know? You know, he a complete total dirtbag Monday through Saturday. You know, and Sunday he holy all of a sudden. You know, that ain't the case with me, man. Like I said, I walk it like I talk it, man. You ain't gonna find me, you know, just immersed in wickedness, man. Like your neighborhood preacher, man. You know? You know, that's one thing about this truth. Yeah, it's gonna tell on you. You know, I don't care who you think you're fooling. You can't fool the Most High. He will expose your ass out here, man. I've seen him do it to numerous people. You can only fake for so long. So he gets tired of your ass and throw you out on Front Street. You know? That's one thing about the Lord. You can't pull one over on the Lord. You can fool your mama, the boss, pastor, your children, your old lady, your wife, whoever. But you ain't getting nothing past the Most High, man. You mean nothing. You know, roughly paraphrasing, he said he know all the thoughts of men. You know? So how you gonna try to get over on the Most High, man? He said, beholding the evil and the good. Man. So like I said, you're supposed to run with this. When you get this truth, this knowledge. And that's exactly what I did. And I ain't look back. You know? It's all straight ahead. You know? You know, and everything is expendable too, man. Family, friends, don't matter. They all gotta go, man. You know, I'm in too deep. I can't go back. You know? I've come too far. You know, I got rid of a long-term friend. I knew what, I don't know, 15, 13 years. And I cut him off like that. You know, the spirit was already moving on me to cut him off. And it just happened, man. And hey, it's for the better. You know, I was already getting vexed from the conversations anyway, because he in the world. But it was getting about that time to cut him off. So the most I had it set up. And when he opened that door, I took it, man. You know? And when it happened, delete phone number, delete that phone number, delete all texts, block, and block. Just that easy, man. You know? Just that easy, bro. Whatever it takes for me to get delivered. Like I say, everything's for sale, man. Everything's for sale. Like Ted DiBiase used to say, hey, everybody has a price. You know? My price is the kingdom of heaven, man. You know, if you ain't talking about that, I don't want it. You know, it's nothing here on this planet that I'm holding on to in this carnal world. Even though heaven's gonna be on earth, but I'm talking about there's nothing in the carnal aspect that's set up in this wicked kingdom, man, that I want. Scripture say was Colossians 3:2. Set your affections on things above, man, and not on the earth. You know, I'm thinking of heavenly things, man. Living forever, ruling. You know? going back to my own land, you know, seeing these people rule, you know, seeing us on top again, you know, and that crown, man. I can't forget about the crown, you know. I can't forget about the crown that you know that Yahweh Shah personally is gonna sit on your head personally, man. You know, and there's no greater accomplishment than that, man. You know, you niggas like going to the Super Bowl and the NBA championship and wearing rings and shit. Man, the Lord, we looking for the Lord to put that crown on our head. You know, Lord willing, you know, I'm of that number. You know, I'm looking to get a crown, man. I'm not looking to be fucking out here, you know, living like a damn peasant. You know, I come from a royal people, man. You know, we the most high chosen people. Why am I working? You know, you supposed to be working for me. You know, that's what the Lord looking for. Men with a rulership type mentality, man. You know, so that's why he's only dealing with a select few this time. You know, I want to lord over you. I don't want to be your equal. You know. Now, people on this sign, yeah, we brothers, we sisters. But anybody outside of that, I don't want to be your friend, man. I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to judge you by the context. What they say, the context of your character. Let that shit. Let one of the kids get your ass say the context of the character or some shit he said. You know, I want to rule over you, man. I want to tell you go do this and go do that. You know, and if you don't, hey, that's your ass, man. That's your ass. You know, that's your damn ass, man. Let's go to Hebrews 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. So yeah, but at the end it shall speak, and it's speaking loudly, man. Mark of the beast is here. The economy's collapsing. You know, the new Rome is falling, man. Rome 2.0 is collapsing. So we're at the end of this, man. We're at the very end. You know, the war already run in America and Israel. It's all prophesied, man. It's all part of prophecy. So we at the end. You know, Russia's gonna get involved. China's gonna get involved. What's his face? Kim Jong-un already said, hey man, he already got the dead man switch ready. If he end up dead, he said, shoot the nukes off, man. So hey man, we at the end of this World War III. You know, World War III is the last war, man. You know, there's not gonna be a World War IV, man. I don't care what Alex Jones said to my we in World War IV. No, we ain't. The scripture speaks about World War III And there's nothing after World War III. You know? How the hell can we be in World War IV when three never, taking place, man? You know? You're gonna see that World War III hasn't ended yet because they already started this automatic draft starting December. So if I was you, I'd be trying to enjoy life as much as you can, because the ones that you are draft eligible, you're going into that Middle East, man, and you're gonna fight this war. You're gonna fight the war for the bankers. But ultimately, the Most High is mustering the battle, man. So he's mustering the battle. This is all part of bringing down this wicked ass empire. At this administration, you can't bounce back after this. It's open, blatant corruption going on, man. They ain't even hiding it now. They just all out stealing. It's just all out, man. It's complete theft is going on up there in Washington. And they know it too. And so they trying to get all they can get before it hits the field. They trying to loot the rest of the bank and get what's left before it hits the fan, man. Hey, Trump just said a couple of days ago, he don't give a damn about no American people, man. He just said he don't give a fuck about nobody. The president of the United States said he don't give a damn what's going on with your. He don't give a damn what's going on with your money problems, man. So, I keep saying, man, I keep bringing up all these points. We at the end of this, man. They going for broke. Trump is off the rails. And he said, hey, in layman's terms, fuck you and your money problems, man. It's all about Iran right now. But yet, you look at the comment section and people still taking up on him, man. They still in this corner. Americans gotta be some of the stupidest people ever, man. The dumbest people on the planet. You could just take a fork, and just stick it in the table, man. So if I was in the world, I'd be partying it up, man. It's over. It's not gonna get any better. Trump don't have any kind of bright ideas. He hasn't passed any infrastructure bills. Nothing. And he constantly talking about he making deals. Well, what are the deals he made? He said, oh, the war is over. He done said that 30 times. Now he just saying anything now. The war is over. The Navy, Iran's Navy is destroyed. We don't need China's help. But he going over to China to talk to China about getting some help about Iran. Hey man, this shit's a mess. No, this is a complete mess right now. But yet, you go in that comment section with some more bots. 'Cause- But you still got a good amount of people. You know, they all the way MAGA, man. And he gonna take you all the way to the poorhouse, man. You know? You know, you working on it as we speak, man. To put your ass in a food line, you know. So as I was you, I'll be trying to pick out a good corner to set up a tent because hey, he's gonna crash the economy. There's no if and buts about it. The market's gonna collapse, the bond market's gonna explode, and you're gonna put everybody in the fucking unemployment line, man. You know? While the whole time eating a Big Mac, you know, like a damn 8-year-old kid, man, eating Big Macs and cheeseburgers all fucking day, man. What kind of man, all this money, billions of dollars, eat McDonald's every fucking day, man? Of course, this man ain't in his right mind. You know, he got access to food all over the planet, and he want a fucking cheeseburger, man, from Mickey D's. You think this man playing with a full deck? You know? Hey, the most I chose one thing Trump did say that is correct. That God chose him for that position. He right about that. You know, that's one thing he didn't lie about. Most I put that idiot in the right place at the right time. And he's going for broke. He is gone for broke, man. You know? It says, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Yeah, it's on the way, man. The mark of the beast is gonna be made mandatory. And you're gonna have a decision to make. Take the implant or you get put to death, man. You know, you get your head cut off, or you go eat, you know. It's gonna be some serious decisions gonna have to be made for the ones who make it that far. You know, because it's not gonna be you're gonna get a phone call or something in the mail say, hey, go get your implant. No, you're gonna have to been through some shit, man. And you're gonna have to go through the riots, martial law, you know, the famine, you know, fighting wild dogs in the street, wild animals, because hey, everything's gotta eat. You know, everything's gotta eat. So you're gonna have to been through a whole lot of shit, man, when it gets to that point. You know, you're gonna have to realize that once they present that mandatory chip to you, you're gonna say, hey, it ain't worth it. I just get my head cut off, or I take the chip and everything starts coming back to normal, you get to eat again. You might be able to find you a nice place to stay, you know. But they're going to turn the resources off. Man. They're going to starve you out. You know? They are going to starve you people out because they're not going to present it to you now. You just go somewhere and buy you some groceries. So if there's nothing to eat, you're going to do some, they say desperate times call for desperate measures. And they might be able to make you go ahead and take that chip. Verse 6, shall not all these take a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And that thick clay is heavy debt. You know? And as you see, was it 39 trillion in debt? Maybe 40, nearly 40 trillion now. Over 300 trillion in liabilities. Can't nobody pay that shit back. I don't care. They say, oh, it take 100,000 each citizen. The debt can't be paid back. You know, you got people barely making damn $20,000 a year. You know? Yeah, you got people right now ain't making shit. You walk up and down the street, you see them stressed out, man. They ain't making shit. But what they panhandle. So the debt can't be paid back. You know, these what's the name called? The urban raccoons, you know? They don't have any money to pay no fucking debt. They can't even, buy themselves anything to eat, let alone pay a debt back. So the system, only solution is to collapse, man. Get rid of the old currency and bring in the new one. That's it. And you're gonna have your digital wallets, your digital tokens, and you're gonna have your bag of crickets to eat, man. Because there's no more going out eating wherever you want to eat after that. You're gonna be told what to eat and where to buy it from. You're gonna be able to go to Trader Joe's and go get you a nice bag of groceries like you used to, or Rouse's or whatever. They're gonna tell you, report to such and such store. Your credit's gonna work at this store, and your monthly ration of crickets, caterpillars, whatever they want you to eat, that's what you're gonna have. And that's what it's coming to, man. And it can't be stopped. I don't care who you try to elect. Like, oh, we're gonna get Massey in there this time. Want Massey to run for president. It don't matter who you get. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers run the board. Special interests, the intelligence agencies, they run the board, man. It don't matter who you vote in. You just waste your time going down there and standing in line, man. You do better just phoning it in, just call down there and say, hey, push that button for such and such, man. They give you the illusion that you're actually doing something. While the whole time, they control it at the top, But they give you like football issues, abortion, crime, and have the underlings in the party, y'all fighting amongst each other. But the upper Republicans and Democrats, They all eating dinner together and shit. You know, they playing golf together. Their kids know each other. You know, they hang out, but you neck to neck on the street level, left versus right, conservative, liberal, independent. It don't mean shit. It's all one big game. You know, and the ones that run everything. Oh, even your boy Charlie Kirk said that. He said Congress is just a peanut gallery, man. You know, that's why they can't get shit passed because it ain't up to them, man. Special interests, the bankers tell them what they're gonna pass, what they're gonna do, and then they get on TV and tell you, "Oh, we didn't have enough votes. You know, the Republicans blocked it, the Democrats blocked it," and they run the same scam over and over and over, man. You know, but don't worry, they got a new scam. You know, that's one thing they always keep is a new scam, man. You know, who they got lined up? AOC. They got Massey. You know, Gavin Newsom. You know, all the other puppets they got. You know, but when it gets down to the brass tacks, like they say, where the rubber meets the road, the agenda always goes forth, man. And that's to get your ass microchipped and make you a digital slave. You know? They're gonna put you in a, like they say, a prison planet. It's gonna be a digital prison planet. You're not gonna be able to flush your toilet without them doing it. They gonna say, "Oh, you flushing the toilet too many times." You know? You know, you're gonna have toe turkeys. Used to eat steaks every now and then. You're gonna have spam. If that, they might even give you any meat, man. The plans they elite is not to give you any kind of meat. You're gonna go on the vegan, complete vegan diet, man. You know? Eat mud cakes. You're gonna eat mud cakes. But hey, you people love it though, man. People love it, you know, and they say, hey, they got you right where they want you, man. You're dumb, you're stupid, you don't care about nothing, you know? You know, you're in a hurry to go fucking nowhere. I see you all day long when I'm out on the route. You just fucking in a hurry to go no fucking where. You know? Selfish, fucking cutthroat. You know, so you ready to get fucked over, man. They ready to fuck you over. You know? They are ready to fuck you people over, man. They got you right where they want you, man. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful, man. You got your ass right in the trap. You know? So we're gonna see what this war does. You know, when they start it back up again. Like I'm saying, this is the calm before the storm. But they getting ready to really break out the fireworks this round two. You know, they're breaking out the big shit on round two. You know, somebody talk about nuking some shit. You know? You know, so hey man, we in some beautiful time. It says at the end it shall speak. It's speaking loudly, man. We at the end. You know? We are at the very end of this fucking nightmare, man. It's a nightmare. You know? No, I don't have to watch a scary movie. You know? I'm saying I live in them. You know? You know, when I was growing up, you know, you watch all them horror movies and shit. Then you get into this truth, you realize you in one, you know? It's like, damn, every day, man. Every fucking day. You know, I'm ready to close it out, bro. You know? I'm gonna go ahead and close it out, man. You know, so scripture say watch and pray. You know? And that's what a true man of the Lord need to be doing, man. Watching and praying, you know, and keeping out what's coming down fucking pipe, man. And like I said, they talking about 6 to 8 weeks. Shelves gonna be empty. You know, you gotta watch with them time frames. They always saying some shit 6 to 8 weeks, and it never happens. But they saying supposedly in 6 to 8 weeks, you're gonna start seeing shortages. You know, shelves empty. You know, gas through the roof. So we'll see on the time of tell, man. But we know it's coming. We know that it's coming. You know, so I'm going to get out of here. Before I do, give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakadash. Shalom.